I cannot believe it. We are at the end of May. We are into June, the 6th month of the year. So many reports. We're going to get right to it. First off, the big three. All right, prices. Prices are coming down. Not a lot, but they're coming down. All right, inventory. Inventory is up. And rates. Unfortunately, rates are still up. We'll get into that as well. Let's talk about the headline news for the week, though. We had new home sales report come in. That showed a mixed bag. Home prices are sliding, but they're still up. Pending home sales disappoint big time. Inflation continues to defy expectations. And Trump and Powell will meet. Oh, man, but what were they talking about? And what were the results? Will we see the results this month in June? So let's get into it right now. And the new home sales report came in last week. Actually, it came in on Friday. I just didn't report on it because I did this video on a Thursday. But new home sales signed contracts jumped 10.9% month over month. That's huge. And we had 743,000 signed contracts. That's the highest number of signed contracts, again, new home sales in 3 years. All right, and sales were up, 3.3% year over year, and prices rebounded up 0.9% month over month to 407,000. Very good. The bad news is not a lot of homes are getting started, and the month of supply actually went down because while homes are in contract or people are in contract, the builders aren't breaking ground. All right, they're not breaking ground. 119,000 of these homes have not even been started. They're just homes on paper. That's it. Case-Shiller Home Price Index, the gold standard of home price appreciation, shows the seasonally adjusted month over month showed a 0.3% decrease last month. We're up 3.4% year over year though, but down from 4% year over year from last month's reading. And remember, these are basically 2 months behind, where the readings that were reported this week were from March, so a couple months late. The 20 city index, actually month over month seasonally adjusted, also showed 0.1% decrease. So prices are going up, but it's just slowing down. And really, the reason why prices aren't coming down across the nation, there is a limited supply. Despite inventory being higher across the country, we're still way below our pre-COVID highs. There's still a good demand, a solid demand for homes. People still want to buy homes. Now, let's talk about the PCE, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Report. This is the Fed's favored measure of inflation. Always comes out that last week or the last day of the month. And hey, the problem is, what's the problem? Inflation is doing what we want it to. Keeps going down. Headline was down to 2.1% from 2.3%. And the core, which is what the Fed really wants at 2%, went from 2.7 down to 2.5%. This is for the month of April. Again, closer to the Fed's desired number, which is 2%. Well, here's the other big news. The annualized core rates for 12 months, 6 months, and 3 months also all dropped below 3%. We had the 6 and 12 month were above 3% last month. Now they're all steady, almost the mid fives, and 12 month at 2.5, 6 month at 2.6, and the 3 month at 2.7%. So that is some great news. On the flip side, some of the not so great news: income was up 0.8%, which was higher than the 0.3% expected. Again, that kind of favors inflation going up, but didn't have that much of an impact this month. Shelter readings, which is the price of basically housing or rent, if you will, hurt the core rate. Those are still elevated. Those numbers haven't come down, and that's why our core rate wasn't even lower than 2.5%. But overall, a great PCE report that came out today on Friday. The pending home sales report. Let's go into this one. Well, this one shows the true truth in pending home sales, or in existing home sales, certainly going forward. And it also shows that February and March, which showed increases in pending home sales, was an anomaly, and that was largely due to interest rates coming down at the beginning of the year. But we saw a huge drop, a 6.3% decrease month over month. The expectation was that it was going to be much less than that, but that is a big drop. And even year over year, we're down 2.5%. So big drops there, and the sales were down nationwide. It wasn't any one particular area. it was areas all over the country. And I will tell you this, based on what I've seen the last 3 weeks locally, it's probably accurate locally here in Oahu as well. And the pace of sales actually dropped from 4.02 million to 4 million, which if we get under 3 million, I mean, we're already not, we don't have enough sales, but if we get below 4 million, that's just a bad number, right? Just, you want to stay in the fours and hopefully going up, but not a good report overall for pending home sales. And then the last bit of big news, the Oval Office in the Fed. President Trump and Fed Chairman Powell met for the first time since 2019. If you recall, President Trump actually elected Jerome Powell as his Fed chairman back in 2017, and they met twice in 2019, but haven't met since then. You know, the meeting, hey, Trump coming in, he's coming, you know, he's not going to hold anything back. He wants interest rates lower. He wants short-term rates lower. He wants mortgage rates lower. And Powell is just being the stubborn old mule and basically saying, hey, the Fed is independent of everybody. We're not Democrat, we're not Republican, we solely are looking at the numbers. And he's basically throwing the hard line, but I gotta believe the message is being received. The fact that they got together, and I tell you, this is something I've been talking about for months now. They gotta meet. They gotta stop bitching at each other. They gotta meet. You know what? They may disagree when they meet, but you know what? They're gonna get their points across, and they're gonna understand each other a little more. This meeting came the day after the Fed minutes from their last meeting came out, where the Fed really showed concern over stagflation. And what is stagflation? We hear about that in the news. But that's basically when you have a slowing economic growth, you have rising unemployment, and you have rising inflation. Well, let's take a look at those three things. The economy is slowing down. The GDP report that came out earlier this week showed a minus 0.2, which was up from a minus 0.3. So, you know, kind of not where we want, but not worse than it was in their first reading. Inflation is down. We just got that report. Check. That's what we want. And next week, we got jobs week. And we'll see if the unemployment rate continues to go up and the number of new hires continues to, or actually starts to come down. We've seen those numbers elevated. Next week may be the week that helps the Fed strongly or confidently make the decision to lower the Fed funds rate at their meeting on June 17th. So really, June is a big month. Will the Fed stay stubborn, ignore that the economy is still pretty solid, ignore that inflation is coming down, and really hide behind, we don't know what's going to happen with inflation because of the tariffs, and the tariffs may cause inflation to go up? Well, that hasn't been seen yet. And if President Trump continues to get deals solidified with regards to tariffs in other countries, then there really should be no expectation that the tariffs will cause the inflation to go up. The bottom line here is they met, and that's a good thing. It's, you know, it's just like rumor control. You know what? Stop the rumors, go face to face. It was funny. I had a talk with a guy today who left the industry, a number of years ago. And I had heard he left because his father had died and left him a lot of money. And I was talking to him today, and I told him that, and he said, that could be nothing farther from the truth. My dad is not dead, and he doesn't have a lot of money. So anyway, it's best when you're bickering, go face to face. All right, face to face, and come to an agreement, or at least air your grievances with each other. And that's what happened. That's good to see. So let's look at interest rates. VA rates were up all week long. We reached the highest level for VA rates since February, but Friday's PCE report brought us good news and brought the VA rates back below 6.5%. So that's a great way to end the week. Heading into jobs week next week. Jobs week is going to be big. I tell you, it's going to move the markets. And then we got, over the course of the next couple of weeks, we got the CPI, Consumer Price Index report, that second week of June. Third week of June, the Fed meets. So really, every week this month, big time news that's going to really move the market. What does this all mean? Well, mortgage apps were up. Again, this is that time of the year when people are moving. We say PCS, permanent change of duty station, but hey, people are permanently moving all over the place because school's getting out. So you see more mortgage applications coming in, and I have more applications this month than there are days in a month. So So that is certainly encouraging and kind of leads, me to believe that the numbers are right, that the apps are up. Refinance apps are down though, or 7% week over week, up overall this year though. So inventory on the island for buyers is still as high as it can be. You're still going to get a credit if you have the right realtor and you go in bargaining from a position of power. And with all the inventory certainly on the west side, you are coming into the market at a position of power because the sellers want to sell. All right. Again, now is the best time to buy. I truly believe that when there's blood in the streets, that's when you take advantage of it. And you got sellers who need to sell. Hence for sellers, hey, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. I've had a couple clients who put in offers, and the sellers who dropped their price, 3 times, 4 times, they're holding out. You know what? They're missing out. They're missing out, and their houses are going to stay on the market longer as long as rates are elevated. So, realtors, you really need to have that discussion with your sellers. And one of the things that I've done for the realtors who I work with is if they got a stubborn seller and they're holding on to their price, I basically do an analysis of the property, and I tell them, hey, it's not that the value isn't there. Your house is a beautiful house. It's a value. There's a lot of value in the house. The problem is it's not affordable for right now. And if you offer a credit, you're going to do pretty well, and you're going to get your home taken off the market. You're going to get your home sold. So if that's not the truth, then I tell them that as well. But a lot of realtors have been coming to me for that. So if you are having a problem, realtors, with your sellers, come talk to me. All right, I'll be your man. All right, that's all I got for you guys this week. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Aloha.